Hi, this is Mrs. Basden, and today we're going to talk about percent composition. So one way to express how much of an element is in a given compound is to use what's called the element's mass percent composition for that compound. So you can use the term percent composition or mass percent to describe the element's percentage of the total mass of the compound. So this is the formula you would use to do that. So to figure out the percent composition or mass percent, so the percent composition or the mass percent, those two things are interchangeable. To get your percent composition for a given element, you take the mass of the element in 1 mole of the compound divided by the total mass or the molar mass of the compound times 100. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to calculate the percent composition or mass percent of methyl alcohol, which is CH3OH. And just like last time, if it's an element or if it's a compound you know how to come up with a formula for, then I'll have you do that. If not, I'll give you the formula. So on this one, you wouldn't be able to come up with this formula on your own, so the formula is given. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out similar to what I did when I was doing the molar mass. I'm going to make a list of all the elements in the compound, and I'm going to total how many of each there are. So there's 1 C, there's 3 H's plus this one over here, so there's 4, 1 O. Then I'm going to find the molar mass of each element. So carbon is 12.01, hydrogen is 1.01, oxygen is 16. And then I'm going to see what mass each of those elements contributes to the total mass of the compound. So for carbon, it's 12.01. Hydrogen's 4.04, and oxygen is 16. So then that allows me to get the total for that particular compound. So the total for this compound is 32.05. So this would be the molar mass of that compound. So then to get the percent composition of each one of those, I'm going to take the mass contributed by each one divided by the molar mass times 100. So to get the mass percent or the percent composition of carbon, I'm going to take 12.01 divided by 32.05 times 100. That gives me 37.47% carbon. Hydrogen divided by 32.05 times 100. That gives me 12.61% hydrogen. Oxygen divided by the total times 100, and that gives me 49.92%. So my percent composition of carbon is 37.47%, hydrogen 12.61%, oxygen 49.92%. The other thing you'll notice is that your percentages should add up to either 100% or really, really close to 100%, like 99.99%. Okay, let's try another one. So this one says plants need nitrogen to grow, so many fertilizers consist of nitrogen-containing compounds. So we're going to calculate the percent composition or mass percent of ammonium sulfate, which is what is in one of these fertilizers. So on this one, you can come up with the formula for ammonium sulfate. So ammonium I know is NH4, and it's a +1. Sulfate is SO4, and it's a -2. I'm going to crisscross those. So ammonium sulfate is NH4 SO4. Then I'm going to start out the same way that I did with the other one. So I'm going to make a list of all the elements. I'm going to tally up how many of each there are. So remember, this gets distributed. So there's 2 nitrogen, 4 times 2, 8 hydrogen, 1 sulfur, 4 oxygen. Multiply by their molar masses. And then total those up. So 28.02 is nitrogen, 8.08 is hydrogen, 32.07 is sulfur, and 64 is oxygen. So then my total, or my molar mass for this compound, is 132.17 grams per mole. So then to get the percent composition, I'm going to divide each one of these by 132.17. and then multiply by 100. So again, you're figuring out the mass that each individual element contributes. You're dividing by the total and then multiplying by 100 to get a percent. So my percent nitrogen is 21.20, percent hydrogen 6.11, percent sulfur 24.26%, and percent oxygen 48.42%. So then those would be my final values.